Hey guys, welcome back to Game Week Talks. Game Week 9 is it? 9, 10, 9. Yes, Game Week 9
Nine, nine.
has been good for Man United and Chelsea fans. It's not been, you already know who's it's gone bad for again. It's the North London club, Arsenal. We had the same
Yeah,
smile last week and we're going to have the same smile this week as well. And it's been pretty average to say the least.
Are we ready for another
And
rant?
well, we might. I mean, so we were supposedly going to talk about the bigger game, which is the Tottenham and Man City, but evidently enough, we're going to again start with Arsenal. So, what do you think, man?
Uh, when I saw the lineup, it was what everyone wanted. The fans
That is
wanted
the
to see
4-3-3.
Pepe play on the right. Yeah, and we went for at the back, and we gave Willock a chance, much needed midfield role for him. And the only thing that I didn't want to see was Willian on the pitch. But then you can justify that because Saka had already played so many games, and he's just a young kid, so it was justified that Saka didn't start and Willian started ahead of him. But we could see that in the midfield battle, we were very light. Like Zaka and Willock and Ceballos, they couldn't cope up with Leeds pressing it. And we were overrun in the midfield. And parties miss was like we missed him a lot. Partey is a huge part of our team now, and not having him on the pitch, you could see our midfield level dropped
Right.
completely. And same as last week, there was no creativity, and we lacked a lot of creativity. And we were lucky, to be frank. If not for poor finishing from Leeds, we would have been 3-0 down in the first half. Like
I know.
We played Aubameyang up front, but there was no service for Aubameyang, and he's not that type of a Kane type of a striker who would come and collect the ball and be involved in the attack. He's not that type of a player. And Pepe, where do I start with him, man? We all were crying out for Pepe to start, and this was his opportunity to show why he should be in the first team every match, and he bottled it. Like I know Alioski gave a Oscar-winning performance for that, but still, you know that players do that.
No, you
These
know what?
days,
I'm
players
not going to go
and
against Alioski. Any player would get the most out of it, and he got the most out of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was a
It was
stupid thing to
stupid.
do from Pepe.
It wasn't even a proper headbutt. That's
Yeah.
it was
I mean,
so
I know it
stupid.
wasn't a
Like
proper headbutt. It was not a Zidane type headbutt,
no,
but it was he was
no,
sent off for the
I'm not
intention.
I'm not saying like if you're going to headbutt someone, like
Do it at least
at
properly.
least do it like Zidane. Yeah, do it like Zidane. But that was so petulant. It was like a kid,
Right.
man. And that's the first red card for Pepe in his
Hmm.
career. So I don't know where this came from. We could see that the entire game that he and Alioski had something going on, and they were just digging into each other. But like always, Arsenal players uh, get these red cards, man, and especially when we need them on the pitch, we could have lost the game because of that. And but one positive that I had was Saka coming on, and you could see why he's the ninth in the young golden boy list. That kid is amazing, but he had the chance to to win the game. Like he could have scored that, but Meslier did really well there. But I'm so disappointed to see Pepe not play well. That's the
Hmm.
only issue I had. And we could see that in January we need a proper midfielder who can create. And you can see what Bruno is doing at Manu, and you can see what Chelsea players, the creativity in Chelsea midfield is doing for them. And you can see what the creativity Ndombele is doing in Tottenham, and Kane himself is dropping deep and
Yeah.
providing most of the assists. So we need some creativity up front, or else it's going to be just boring gameplay. And it's very unlikely for Arsenal fans to say it's boring to watch the match. I'm fine if we win 1-0, but we are not winning 1-0. Like we are
Actually,
either
I think
losing
Arsenal
it.
have scored one goal in their last 5 Premier League games.
I mean,
Yeah, they
we've
haven't
always
scored.
been
You
talking
had
about the lack of goal scoring form in this channel, and it's further negative a point for them, and it's very evident they need a creative midfielder.
And that one goal is actually a
And
stupid penalty conceded by Pogba.
Yeah, that was Aubameyang's goal again in
Yeah.
in Manchester United. But
right,
the thing is, like, we've not scored from open play in a very long time, and that's a huge issue. And Arteta has to somehow find the balance with the midfield, the defense, and the attack balance. You can see that when we went 4-4-3, when we went
four
four
three
four
three.
three, you can see,
Yeah.
4-3-3. Sorry, when we went 4-3-3, you could see that uh, we were so open that they could, like, Leeds could score anytime. That's how open we were, and it's justified that why Arteta is setting up Arsenal so defensively,
Mm, mm,
because you could see what we could have, which could have easily be a 6-0 or 4-0 or 3-0 loss if the post was not in our side.
right.
That's why I said 4-4-3. I think so, because the post was also part of our team. Uh, but hopefully, like, there was a lot of abuse for Pepe and Alioski after the game, which was not necessary. But I
Srini,
hope
I actually
Pepe
have
bounces back.
one question to ask you. It feels
Yeah,
weird to ask it because I think Thomas Partey has played 4 or 5 games for Arsenal, and it's just been a month since he came. And so soon, you guys have gone to the extent where without Partey, there is no party for Arsenal. So, do you feel there is an exaggerate? I mean, there is too much of over dependence on one particular player because he runs the midfield. I think he is capable of turning the match on his own, but do you think it's healthy that you are depending so much on this one particular player's presence?
yeah. See, there are certain players who can solidify your entire team, right? So we now have Gabriel in the defense, who's kind of solid, and we bought Partey in the midfield so that he can do something in the midfield job and solidify, because he is a world class player. So if you obviously don't have that player in your team is going to suffer. You could see what Partey could offer and what he could do, but there is an over reliance in in Partey that's there. That's because we don't have much of quality in the midfield. Like Zaka is fine. Like Zaka is okay, but he's not the world class player.
Right.
He's not a great player. He has just one foot. Like he can just pass with left foot. Yeah, I don't think he has a right foot at all. He doesn't do anything with that, and he's too slow for the midfield role. And Ceballos is good at like attacking and good at defensive work as well, but then sometimes he goes missing in games. Like,
Okay,
he's not
no
consistent with it.
respect, no disrespect to Ceballos, but I think Ceballos is more of a squad player than a starter. And there is a reason why Real Madrid has sent him to the Real Madrid won't send their world class players to clubs like Arsenal or Kovacic to Chelsea, and they saw that they are not more than a squad players. And there is no disrespect here because I don't see Arsenal depending on Ceballos to create. He can come off the bench and do something extraordinary, probably, but I don't see him doing
He's yeah,
world class things
he's
that
not an out and out. He's not an out and out goal scorer from the midfield
Mm,
or a creator from the midfield.
Yeah.
He is a very good player to have in the team, but he's not the one who's going to carry your team
right.
at times when you're down and out. So we needed someone like that, and Party was that. And in this moment, we would need someone like Party to steady the ship. Uh, but that's why to answer your question, that's why a Party is very important, man, for us. Like, if you take him out of the midfield, like, you can see the impact that you can you can see the impact. Like, we went off, like, in the first half against Aston Villa, and we actually collapsed after that.
Right.
That's when we started conceding. We became so open. So that's why I think Party is very important. It's okay to over rely on Party because he can actually handle that because he's played in that level, and he's a type of player that who can take the team's responsibility and take us forward. But we need someone of a creative quality playing alongside Party. If not, it's going to be just relying on kids to make up something
Mm.
from the bench, or relying on kids to do some magic like Reece Nelson and Saka and Willock. They are all kids. They should be playing alongside these uh, world class players to learn from them, and
Right.
they shouldn't be given the entire responsibility.
Mm.
So
Makes sense.
that's the problem, and Aubameyang not scoring is an issue at the moment, and it's something that Arteta has to work on. And it's a great thing
I
that
mean, I know.
Europa League
See,
is there.
look, we know that Aubameyang can score goals. He's a prolific goal scorer, but not getting enough chances, or not creating enough chances for him. Do you think he might, when the chance comes, or do you think you're actually, by not having creative midfielder, you're sabotaging Aubameyang's, goal
Yeah,
scoring
yeah,
form?
we are actually see. Arteta came in to do a job, and he saw the defense as is the worst, is like the most weakest part of
Right.
Arsenal's play. So he went on and made us defensively
Mm.
solid, and because of that, our attack is suffering a lot. So there is a lack of balance, like I've said on time again. We need to find that balance, and hopefully, signing few players will do that, or we need to find a gem from the
Academy.
academy to help us score goals and all that. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for Arteta, and Europa League is there, so I hope Pepe will play there and prove that he is a good player. We know what class he is, but what he did was completely unacceptable. Like what Arteta said, he completely let the team down.
Right.
But
I mean,
to come out on with a draw of being 10 men, it was
it
something. It
it
was
should
a
really feel
positive.
weird
Like
for Arsenal to say that, because I know, look, going down to 10 men and coming away with a point is really good, but even with 11 men, Arsenal weren't the best.
yeah,
I mean, I
we
wouldn't
win
say the best.
convincing.
You
We
guys
win.
didn't play well, to be honest. But it really, really is, should be really
Playing away,
demotivating. Sorry.
yeah, playing away to
Hmm.
Leeds is not easy. It's not an easy task, but especially when you know that you lack the confidence, you are
Right.
very low in
Hmm.
confidence.
Makes sense.
It's not easy. And Bielsa being a master tactician, he would have read every play that Arsenal would actually throw at him. So it was difficult for our players to cope up with their running and all that. But yeah, it was they didn't finish their chance. We were in the game till the end, and we could have done a smash and grab like how Leicester did against us. But then we,
Right.
like all the time, we failed to finish our only chance, and it fell to the kid Saka. So I'm not going to say anything about it. So, but coming out of Ellen Road with the point is, it's a
It's,
positive. If you see it if you put it in context, it's a great point to have. But a loss against Villa and then a draw against Leeds doesn't look good on
so would
Arsenal's
you say
table.
this is a point gained or 2 points dropped?
It is a point gained because of what happened in the game. So if we had played 11 men and we had it was nil-nil, I would have been even more pissed off.
Right.
But the fact that we came out of the game with a point after them hitting the crossbar million times, Lady Luck was in our side. So I'm
I
I'm
mean, you
happy
could
with the
even, I
point, but
mean, the player that we are
it's not good
failing
enough.
to, address is Leno, because I think Leno made some impossible saves. He made some world class saves,
Yeah,
which kept you in the game. So
you
otherwise, I think he made some 6 or 7 saves in the game. which kept
Yeah,
you in the game.
he made the most forward passes as well in out of all the Arsenal players. So you could see the
That's not a good
creativity
sign.
level in our. But yeah, Leno was brilliant. The, thank God for Leno. He does that all season. Like last season, he was there doing that. So he's a great shot stopper. But our attack has to improve. This is not good enough. Like next we have Wolves, and then we play
Tottenham.
away to Tottenham. So
Yeah.
that's
It's
going to
not
be
looking
a
pretty.
tough two games. Like
I
this is a
mean,
make or
to
break
be
thing for
entirely
Arsenal.
honest, Wolves are extreme, even more difficult proposition than Leeds.
Yeah, Wolves have a really good defense also this season.
So it might
Like
be a little
last year
bit.
we did beat last year we did beat Wolves away. So I think Arteta knows how to maneuver there. But then this Tottenham this year they are looking even more solid than last year.
So yeah, I mean,
So
speaking of
yeah, man.
Tottenham, I think I mean the Tottenham Man City game was really, really, lively game to watch. It was very nice. It was very eventful. We know how Mourinho was going to set up. He was playing on the counter, and Pep played
It
into
was
his hands, kind of, and it was a
it was an
proper Mourinho
it,
performance. And
I
to
mean,
my
when
on
Srini said that Arsenal could have done a smash and grab, so I think Tottenham they converted from their
Hmm.
very first chance of the game, and after that, I mean, City were behind the eight ball. I mean, they were chasing the game
I
completely
mean,
after that.
I agree. The fact that Dyer is
it was
looking,
at
he's making Dyer look like a good centre back. It's we have
Yeah,
to appreciate. We have to
It was an
appreciate
attack
Mourinho.
versus defense sort of
Hmm.
a game, man. It was complete attack was like it's the exact same way Arsenal set up against Man City, but
Right,
we couldn't take our chances.
right.
But then Tottenham took their chances, and that's the difference. And they had like what 4 shots, and they converted 2 shots. And Man
yeah.
City, like Leeds, they kept making those shots, but
I mean,
none of it
I
was on
felt
target.
even if they had another 90 minutes, Man City ain't scoring in that match, because that's how good Tottenham were. Because, if you see, there was like, they took 22 shots, and out of 22, 18 shots were blocked, and they had only what, 2 or 3 shots on target. So I would
Six
say
shots on
that,
target.
yeah, kind of. So I would say that they defensively set up really, really well, and
Yeah,
for a moment,
that's how
hmm,
Tottenham play, right?
and Serge
Especially a
Aurier looks a
Mourinho
different
team.
But
prop.
then,
Serge Aurier played really
but
interestingly.
one
He
of
played
the
well.
main events of the game was the handball incident. So,
Hmm.
what are your views on that, by the way?
See, the handball thing is pretty confusing, man.
Yeah, it's actually
It's
confusing.
like people like they say till the sleeve it's like not a handball, but below the sleeves is handball, and you can't say every team has a standardized sleeve slice. So it's I don't know what's the problem, and
Look, we can all say that we've been watching football for what, 7 8 years now, easily, and we've never had this confusion for all these for the last at least a year,
I
and
mean,
it's
it's
very
actually
evident
not just
how.
the fans. In the post-match conference, Kevin De
Yeah,
Bruyne
even KDB
even
said the
himself
same
said,
thing.
"I don't understand the rules anymore."
Exactly. So
yeah,
if
it's
the
like,
players don't
no
understand,
what they did with the handball rule is fine. Like it's not just hit your hand, it's like a penalty, and that rule is scrapped. That's fine, that's a good thing. But the fact that it's given the discretion is given, it's up to the referee to make those decisions. And the incompetence of the referees in the Premier League, they don't know what to make of anything. They don't know to make the proper decisions at the right time, and it's just confusing. Like if you see Aubameyang's shot, it just ricocheted off the player
right?
and hit the player's hand, and that was not given a penalty. But I don't know, like very simple things have been given penalties, but then very blatant handballs are not given handballs. I don't know. It's up to the refs, I think so, and there should be some standardized
I mean, we
thing
keep
over
saying
here,
there should be
or else.
something that should be standardized, but I don't see this being solved unless this rules are being written by a football player. I don't know who makes the decision, but it's not making things easier for the players or the referees to make these decisions. But yes, moving on and talking more about the Man City and Tottenham game, they were. I felt, you know, no disrespect to Tottenham. Man City were poor. They weren't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say Tottenham played exclusively well. They didn't allow Tottenham. They didn't allow Man City to play. Man City did not play well. They look flat. They look lethargic. Pep looks. I was surprised when Pep got the contract extension. To be entirely honest, and he looks lackluster. He looks like I'm done with this team.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
he's
and
lost the will to play to
Hmm.
manage the club anymore. But I don't know why the team selection was kind of bizarre. But I don't know why Foden was not playing. He had a great international. He played really well there, and he's been on form. And you need your form players to play such big games. And the fact that he was not on the pitch, and I don't know, like even De Bruyne doesn't look like the KDB that we saw last year.
I think he's carrying the brunt of the midfield this season. I think there is so much of a reliance on him, and I think they don't have the correct replacements. I think they are missing David Silva more than any other player right now because he was the glue in midfield. He was making all those
Yeah,
things
like
happen.
Foden was supposed to do that. Foden
Yeah,
was supposed to be
And I
the
think they're one
the
more
replacement
player.
for
I think
David
they're
Silva.
one player losing. If they lose Fernandinho in midfield or in the defense, I think Man City would break completely. Is what I'd feel.
But they
Uh,
haven't. You could see what a player like Company could bring in your team. They missed
right.
Company last year. Now they're missing a player like David Silva. Like you, for a team like Man City, who are not they are not able to buy proper players. If you see, the recruitment is a huge thing. Like you can't keep buying players left, right, and center if they don't fit in your team and your
Right.
manager doesn't want them. I don't know what's wrong with Pep and what's happening. I think they will go, and obviously they have like so much money available, so they're going to throw whatever available cash on the transfer market anyway. So they're going to do some 200 million, 300 million worth purchases anyway. I think they'll go and get Haaland because his dad played with Man City, so they might use that particular connection, and they could get him.
That's.
Like if they get Haaland, then that would be a brilliant move
I would
for
still
Man
say
City and for
they're not back because I feel it's very we can't accuse Man City like this, but it's becoming uh, anyone could beat Man City right now. It wasn't like the case 2 years or a year ago. Probably last year we could still say that we could beat them, but the year before
yeah.
that they were so formidable, and this is a huge drop for them.
They could outscore any team, but
Hmm.
at the moment they are struggling to score against any team. To be honest,
yeah.
like they are not able to score against even the smaller teams, and it's going to be a difficult patch for Man City to come from this because they are in 13th, I think so.
Hmm.
So for someone who spends so much in the team and they're not delivering it, if Pep doesn't get them the Champions League this year, I think he'll be sacked or he'll just leave.
Right.
Uh, I
Regardless of the
but
contract extension, is what I feel. I
I
mean,
But
mean,
the
even
yeah.
weird
City's.
part is even after all these losses, it's just like they're just 5 points or 6 points away
Hmm.
from the top.
Hmm.
So that's how
Yeah.
competitive the league is, and they have a game in hand as well. So uh, you can't say anything like it's just like a flick of a switch. They could just start
Right.
getting on in
But
form,
yeah,
and
City
they
actually
burn.
have a favorable run of fixtures coming up. People are saying that they might get a lot of points, but I think the teams that are defending, I think Burnley defend very deep. They're very physical. I think City will actually have their work cut out. I think those 3 points, they will have to work very, very hard for that. I don't think it will come as easily as their fans think or how the normal pundits think. So yeah, so adding on to that, even Rodri has also been a big letdown actually from how Fernandinho used to
He's
play.
not.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
so
so. He's
He's
an
not the
exact
dog. Yeah.
replacement for Fernandinho. He is a good player. I don't think so. If he's playing in a midfield too, you can see Rodri playing really well.
yeah.
But if you play him in a 4-3-3, I don't think so. He is that midfielder who sweeps up or cleans everything. I wouldn't say that talent is
He's
not
more
there.
offensive. He's more of an
No, I don't think
offensive
so. He's
minded
offensive. I think he's.
defender.
Most of
I
his
No,
think
passes
he
are
needs a
actually sideways
partner.
nowadays.
I think he needs a partner to go ahead with his or
and
help
the
him.
player that they played Man City are so like they want that player to be in form is Bernardo Silva. Like ever since that Twitter issue with Sterling, I don't know some from then on he's not in his same mind frame and he's been off form
I
till
mean,
from
we
then.
keep saying that,
And
but the player that we player that we miss
selling
talking
Sane
about is
looks very
Sane.
bad, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Sane. They also miss Sane, and I think Sane should have been retained or kept with City, letting him go to Bayern Munich by not replacing like to like. They got Ferran Torres, but he's not exactly the quality that Pep would have wanted. But there is no excuse for Man City. They keep spending and they don't spend well. So yeah, I feel
Yeah,
they
exactly what they've done. Exactly what they've done. Exactly what Tottenham wanted to do. Tottenham just spent properly in the right positions and they plucked the problem areas right now. And they look a very good different. They look a different team under Mourinho. But yeah, Mourinho has that thing. It's like the second season. There's always this thing. Second season, Mourinho plays well, right? So he's doing some magic there with the players. And Kane and Son and Ndombele, like getting him back to form, looks like a pretty big thing for Tottenham and Reguilon and Doherty, and they have signed proper
right.
players who take them to the next level. And
And
it's scary, man. It's scary to
I
think
mean,
that they are
four
top
game
of the
weeks
table.
back, they were actually telling the defense is not world class, not doing the proper work after the draw with West Ham. But after that, they've been actually really good. I mean, they've shut down City and they can actually be confident when they're actually going to play Chelsea and Arsenal over the next 2 game weeks. So I think they can still
Yeah,
put 2 more wins from those fixtures. I think they're confident
yeah,
ones
this
right now.
game, yeah, this run of games is very important for Tottenham. It will
mm,
show their levels right now. They the first test they passed with flying colors, but they have Chelsea coming up who are way more attacking, and
Yeah,
even they have a solid defensive record. So
that
we
was the
could see
litmus test.
what they yeah, that's going to be a great thing. And Tottenham's run of games are not very easy. Even till December mid or end, it's going to be very difficult for them. They
right.
play Liverpool, Leicester, Wolves, and all that. So it's not going to be easy for them anymore. But then they're making it look easy. So
Right.
that's being an Arsenal fan. It's very irritating to see them playing this way.
I mean, yes. Moving on from that game and talking about Man United versus West Brom. I mean, talk us through the game, man.
They did a they did a Tottenham.
I mean, I
That's
wouldn't
all.
even call they wouldn't did a
It
Just
was
Tottenham.
it was a
wasn't
1-0 performance.
convincing at all. It wasn't actually convincing because first thing that I wanted to say is I think United were actually lucky on that day because I
Mm,
think West Brom did deserve that penalty when Bruno actually fouled him, and then Bruno
Yeah.
missed another penalty, and God, Johnstone then stepped out of his line. I think luck favored United a lot, but when I actually asked Srini, is Arsenal over reliant on Partey? I'm actually able to relate to it because I don't think everything that United create nowadays is only coming only through Bruno Fernandes. So it is actually worrying. It's very worrying to see that it's an unhealthy prospect when most of the chances that the team creates is only passing through one particular player. But I mean, in the end, I'm happy that we got the 3 points. I know West Brom is still at the bottom of the table. I would have liked the performance that Chelsea did against Burnley or Sheffield United teams that are at the bottom of the table. But United were unconvincing, but end of the day, 3 points. So other than that, I think it was a good Premier League debut for Alex Telles. I was actually looking forward to that because he played really well. He played solid against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, but then he was unlucky because he got the virus. So I was expecting that because Shaw hasn't been performing at his best, not for a month, not for a week, but for years. So it was happy because he was very hungry. He was bringing that energy into the team, just like how Bruno brought into that. But
Right.
it was good. But the concerning thing here is that Anthony Martial is still not scoring goals. He's looking very lackluster on the pitch. I honestly don't
Martial,
understand
man.
why Donny van de Beek or I don't understand why Cavani itself is not starting. So that is one thing. But looking at the formation, I still think a couple of changes can be
I
made.
mean,
First
you
thing,
say that everything is created by Bruno. Bruno is the only source. I mean, do you see something wrong with the system? Do you
yeah,
think
it's
that
wrong.
going?
I mean,
Do you think? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
because if you are going to stick with Ole, if United is going to stick with Ole, and Ole is going to build a team, and you're going to give him the cash to spend, and if he's going to do what he's continue to doing right now, do you think it's healthy for United? Because we've already seen a lot of complaints. We've already seen a lot of pointed fingers toward the board. And if you keep sticking with Ole, in spite that you're not happy with him, or after seeing these kind of performance, that should be a decision taken by the board.
There has to be a decision taken by the board. First thing first, obviously, it is very unhealthy that there is too much of pressure put on one player to create most of the chances. But I still think we can give Ole the rope at least till the end of the season because look, you
No,
can
but
tell that there is a reliance, there is thing, but at the end he actually gets his results. I mean, you
Hmm.
can't deny that.
Hmm. Right.
So United have had favorable results no matter what they play. I think if you told me that we would be actually defeating Paris Saint-Germain and
Hmm.
Leipzig
Hmm.
in the Champions League, we are actually on course to top our group in the Champions League. So uh, if you look at the bigger picture, probably United are still getting the results. But in the formation wise on the pitch, I would actually like a few changes. First thing first is I don't think Anthony Martial is a natural number nine.
yeah,
I would like for
he,
him to be
he
pushed to the left wing, and
left. Yeah, I should to cut in and
uh,
Finally
score.
said it.
yeah, exactly.
I
And
could
the reason why
I could still remember the goal that he scored against Liverpool in his debut,
on his
where he
debut, yes,
cut in from
exactly.
like left and like took on like 2 3 players and finished it like Henry. And I was like, oh my god, they've got a great player. And I don't know, like he was scoring a lot of goals last like towards the end of last season after the uh, corona this thing and all that
After the
happened
restart, yeah,
when the restart, yeah, on the restart he was playing really well. But why I feel like you said Arsenal are relying on Partey, but we don't have the proper players to help in the midfield. But Man United have great potential in midfield. They have
exactly.
Pogba, they have Van der Beek, and I think they are not used properly. And I think if Van der Beek and Bruno played alongside somehow, I think there'll be some ease for Bruno, and his
And I
responsibilities will be
somehow
less.
feel the man management from Ole is very poor.
Yeah,
Very
it's
poor.
lacking a lot. I
So,
actually thought he might be better at it. I was secretly hoping he
hmm,
might be better at that because in the end, you want a manager who gets you the results, right? He's
right.
getting that, but his man management
I
has
mean, there
actually
is
been
no
poor. So,
denying it, but I want Ole to be getting the results. I mean, I don't hope for him to get all the results, but you should guys should be hoping he gets those results when he's not under pressure. Maybe it looks to me only when he's under pressure he gets the result. So that's not
When
healthy.
his neck on the line, he gets a
Hmm.
great result, and then he gets another 5 games. And that's how it is for him. Like the PSG win gave him the like literally Rio Ferdinand gave him a contract for lifetime. So after the PSG win last year, so I think you have the team, man. You have the proper team. You have the proper midfield. I think the where it's lacking is to find the balance and the application of tactics. I think that's where it's getting wrong. And
yeah.
you have
Also, I
great
think
defenses.
Yeah, I think the front three can actually be alternated in position because I primarily said Marshall has to be moved to the left wing because Rashford is not doing that much of a job. He has
Right.
the output, but he is actually not dribbling past defenders. I think over the last 6 months, I have seen Rashford try to go past the right back of the opposition team, then stop it and just pass it back to our left
Mm.
back, which is Brandon Williams or Luke Shaw or something else. The thing with Rashford is he's not that much of a dribbler, but he has a very good amount of raw
Pace.
pace. So if you can actually put him in the right wing, and remember his shots from outside the box, they have a lot of depth, and it actually troubles the goalkeeper a lot. So if you actually put him in the right wing and just make him go and just put a ball inside, I think it can actually be more lethal. If you remember, a lot of goalkeepers have actually had problems dealing with the Rashford shots outside the box, including Lloris,
Right.
Gigi
Right.
Buffon, and all that. So who does play at centre forward? I think we can definitely give Mason Greenwood a chance up front because sometimes it is kind of unfair to him because I think we already talked about this. United do most of their attacks coming from the left hand side. Greenwood is still coming inside and only finishing most of the time because he's isolated over there in the right wing. So you can actually alternate between Cavani and Greenwood because
Mhm.
Martial is not dropping in deep and holding up play for Rashford and the other right wingers to go make marauding runs outside. He is also
Right.
running at the back of the defender. So if you actually have Cavani, he can come and hold up play, and Martial and Rashford can make runs on either side of him. Or even Greenwood can also do a good job because he's actually two-footed, so he can shoot in both ways. So I think
Yeah,
it's
like
high time
you have the
United stop.
players to actually interchange, and in the game they could
Which
just
tactics?
change positions. And that could be a great thing that Ole should be doing, because they have Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood, like you said,
I mean, the
who can
talent is
finish.
humongous, but it's just not being
Yeah,
used properly, which is disappointing.
and
I
Martial is out of form. So I think when he starts scoring, it's going to be great for the United place. But then you guys are winning, right?
That's a good
So
thing.
I
I
think
mean, yes.
I don't think you'll be complaining.
I hope United keep Ole, man. I don't mind Ole being there because if Ole is there, it's not the worst thing that could happen for the other clubs. So yeah, so moving on, and talking about the Newcastle Chelsea game. I mean, it's all probably is looking all positive for us. We are starting to dominate games, and we're just not, scrapping victories. We're starting to create goals from everywhere and looking really, really positive because we can clearly see a system is working, and Conte is the integral part of it because
Ante
he
was
back
brilliant.
to his best. He's back to his best, and it's very evident when you put him in the center of the
In his
three.
favorite position.
He he uh, he becomes the best, and he is now coming back from that injury long season, and he seems fully recovered, and it's looking
He
good.
was everywhere, man. He was
Yeah,
everywhere. Like
I
he was
mean, to
sweeping.
be
He was carrying the ball.
I know. A lot of people say that Newcastle didn't attack enough, Sheffield didn't attack enough, or Burnley didn't attack enough. I simply right now think that that the type of press we are doing, the type of play, or the type of system we are creating, we are not letting them play. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of difference between them not playing and us not letting them play, and it's very easily misunderstood by a lot of
the guys are stifling the
things.
opposition
Yeah,
basically.
because I could see because last season we were dropping points against Sheffield and we got the 3 points and we dominated them. We lost points against
Like
Newcastle and we
last
kind
year,
of dominated.
I
Last
think
year
last year,
I
Sheffield
mean,
is
we could say last year
was
Sheffield
different from
is,
this year Sheffield
but
yeah,
the
Chelsea also
way we
lost
won
points
it
to
or the
Newcastle.
manner we keep winning these games is a statement. And
with clean sheets, man. With
yeah,
Yeah,
like
clean sheets.
without
but
even
yes,
conceding a goal.
the the positive thing for me in this game was when we lost the ball, we didn't let them make put together two passes and we pressed them and got the ball immediately. That's very encouraging. And the other encouraging thing is we didn't have Havertz, we didn't have Thiago Silva, and we still got the clean sheet. And Rudiger coming off out of nowhere and putting a performance like that is even more encouraging. So I know Chelsea fans are in cloud nine and all that. It's very easy to get carried away, and we I want to see how we do against. We always want to see
Tottenham.
how we perform against the big teams, and I'm one of those guys who don't get want to get immediately carried away when our team or my team performs really well. And the biggest test for us is right now Tottenham, and we are facing them the weekend coming weekend, and it's going to be really interesting for me to really see that. And I know,
I think Werner.
yeah, talking
I don't
about
know
Werner.
what went wrong with Werner, but
I think he was actually overdoing things a lot.
I feel,
yeah,
yeah,
he could have just
exactly.
scored four goals.
I think he was trying to be over smart.
Yeah, he could
He
have
could
easily
have gone
gotten
for
a
the
hat trick.
simple finish on the keeper's right from
Yeah,
his
A
end,
simple
and he wanted to
pass.
be over smart and go. He gave him the eye and went to the left. And I simply think that he did not want to shoot. He felt that I'm not going to take a shot. I'm just going to pass the ball, and it was frustrating. But it was good that he didn't let his head drop. It is very easy to let his
yeah.
head drop
The
and
second
not
goal
look.
was completely
Yeah,
Werner's doing.
exactly. That's what.
He
See,
made
that's.
that up.
I mean, yeah, that's. I feel that's the difference between, I'm comparing two different kind of players, but it's still uh, early season for Werner and Morata. The Morata was kind of a player who, lets his head drop immediately if he's not going to score or if he's having a bad game. Werner's a completely different proposition. And we know that for both the goals we scored, he was the integral part. He created the first goal and the second. To be entirely honest, he gave the second assist for the first, and we all saw the run he made in between two players, and his pace is now showing up that he is just not all about pace, and he can dribble with his pace. It's
Yeah.
really really interesting,
No,
and
no
I
one
like him.
doubted his capabilities. Like no one doubted his capabilities. The fact
I
that
mean, a lot of people did
uh,
accuse him of just having pace and not having anything else. And I was like,
like
who
when
are
you
these
don't
people? Do you guys
score,
see him play?
that's yeah. When you don't score, that's what they're gonna say. Like if Werner had not created the chance, they would have
Like,
been slating him because he had like 4 or 5 easy chances. It was not
right.
like difficult chances.
Hmm.
It was like a easy chance for a player like Werner.
Werner to convert,
He,
yeah. I
he
mean,
should
there
have
is no
finished all
excuse
those.
that he should not have not finished those chances. It's very, very,
Yeah, the fact that you're playing Newcastle, those misses didn't come back to
right,
haunt you. If you're going to
right.
do those misses against big clubs,
Hmm.
like next week when you have like 5 easy chances and you don't take it, I think Kane and Son will have 2 chances and they'll take it.
Yes,
And the thing
exactly.
is,
So
Chelsea wouldn't get a lot of chances. I mean, if they get one chance, Werner probably has to convert it
Hmm.
because it will take a lot of time. And maybe just because it's Newcastle, his set didn't drop. I mean, against the team that is probably going to defend with 8 players next week, Werner has to be more clinical, I guess.
I mean, I do get
yeah,
that, and I feel it's still early, but he likes scoring against Tottenham. His first goal was against Tottenham, and in Champions
Yeah.
League he did against Leipzig. Did score against Tottenham, and the one player I often we all everyone kind of underrated, or he went under the radar, or everyone thought he wouldn't be starting games is Tammy, man.
Tammy Abraham.
Mount
He
Yeah.
exactly
Tammy.
well, I feel Werner can play on the left as long as Tammy is playing central. If you put Werner on the central and put Pulisic on the left, I don't think so. He's going to be as effective. I think Tammy is bringing out the best of Werner and Ziyech because he's holding the ball, he's dribbling the ball, and he's got the pace to run with it. And he's
He's
it's
got the aerial threat
yeah,
as well.
and
Like,
he's
Yeah.
it's very encouraging to see and how improved he's becoming game after game, and he's actually stepped his game up ever since Werner's come up, and he's claiming his spot for the game, and he's saying that I should be starting all the games even if Pulisic is coming. And right now, even if Pulisic comes, I don't think so. He makes 11, or that's the very very encouraging thing.
one great thing with Lampard and with the Chelsea squad is that uh, we can see that Mason Mount is playing brilliant. Like he's actually benching one of the world's top talents.
I mean, he's still
And
not in the bench, but yes, I do get what you're trying to say. Yeah,
like even if Havertz is available to play, I don't think Mason Mount will be the person who is going to be coming off the team. I think
Kovacic
Mason
is in
Mount would
currently.
be the first. I think Mason Mount will be the first person on the team sheet for
Right.
Lampard, because
Mm.
Lampard likes Mason Mount, and it's not for a stupid reason. You can see Mason Mount is a quality player. The touch that he did from the long ball,
Right,
the
right.
touch that he
And
did
turn
and
immediately.
went past the defender. Yeah, and only thing lacking was the finish. But then that move was brilliant for a player of his age, and uh, he doesn't look very strong as well. But then he was able to hold the defender and spin him and just go past him. He could he's like someone who could score and also create from the
Yeah.
midfield. It's a great thing to have for Chelsea, and competition for places is going to just make both the players play better,
And the
and they're going to
surprising thing
improve each
for
other.
me is how well Reece James developed and made Aspilicueta one of our regular starters. He's not missed a minute last season or last 2 seasons, and he's making him sit at the bench, and that's not something very easy.
I think it's just a cycle, man. Reese was supposed to be the main right back. I think it's time for him to step up, and the fact that Trent right now is not available for England, and
It's
he's
a good
been
thing for
playing
Reece.
for the national team, it's great thing for Reese, because you can see Trent and Reese, they are very similar in their way of playing, but it's great for Chelsea to have someone like the fact that they let go of
Mm.
Lamptey, but they had a player like
If we had
Reese.
Lamperty and we
So
would have had like three solid right backs,
yeah,
and that's
that's
not in, yeah,
I was
they have
actually
Reese
watching
right
the
now.
Brighton game versus Villa, and actually Lamptey was actually the player of the match. He's very
right.
unlucky to get sent off in that game.
The sent off, yeah, it was very unlucky for that for him. But he was playing, he was so brilliant to watch, and he was just turning midfielders and running with the ball like he was a center midfielder or a front three player. But this low center of gravity is
Right.
it looks like he looks like Santi Cazorla at times when he just turns, and like I could
I
see
mean,
also some Sean Wright Phillips in him when he just goes past players with the space and all that.
I
Where
mean,
Reese
coming
James,
back,
man, like
yeah, I know.
the revelation,
He looks like a
he's been
solid
great.
proposition. And the one more
He's an
player
athlete. He's like a beast. Yeah,
he's
he's like
just,
an
it's very
athlete who just
hard for
run
me to
up and
believe
down.
that he's just 20-year-old and he looks so muscular. He doesn't look
Yeah.
20. He looks like a 25-year-old guy. And he's, I like Reese, man. It's all praise for Reese. And the other player is Ben Chilwell. He looks like I don't know if it's Chelsea or it's just a left back of Chelsea. Every player who plays for a left back in Chelsea becomes a striker. They be in the box. Be it Alonso, be it Chilwell, be it
Alonso.
Emerson, they are in the box. And Chilwell,
And that's why I feel left is your left side of defense will be the problem place for you, because
it never
Chilwell is
had.
mostly
Right.
upfield,
I
and
mean, I get
Chilwell is
that.
not he Chilwell is not that great of a defender. He's like Van Bissaka. Like people say, he's very good at going up front, but most of the times he's off. Like he's not in his position. That's why he has to like track back and make the last
I
disc
mean,
I think
challenges that he
that's
the thing
does.
with Van
un,
Bissaka is he's actually very good at tackling the players.
yeah,
The
exactly.
Yeah,
last minute tackling.
like his last minute tackles are like great, and and that guy has a very long legs, and he could just go and take the ball, nick the ball at any time. And I think Ben Chilwell, and he's coming off of an injury, and he's
I
looking really great, man.
I
The
don't.
fact
Yeah,
that he can
exactly. So
create
I
from the
think
left.
it's all positives for us. Chilwell, he's never been caught out of
Yeah,
position. Uh, all the games he's played till now for Chelsea. I know, I get it. There might be games where he might slack off. That I think that's a good thing for him to lead and come off. But I feel he's one of those players who settled in really quickly with along with Ziyech, and along with the other players, and it's looking really positive for Chelsea. And I
Thing with
want to see
Chelsea
how.
is if they had the audacity to actually sell Lamptey out, it actually speaks volumes of the squad depth that they have. You see,
Exactly.
Pulisic won't be a starter when he comes back into the team, and I think
Just
they
Kovacic
are
might not
seriously
start
thinking
when
like,
Havertz is there.
yeah,
I mean, I
even Havertz
always,
won't be
yeah,
starting when
exactly.
he's back.
Yeah, see, there's going to be a lot of uh,
You have
gloomy
Thiago
faces. That
Silva
we
coming back.
can't keep everyone happy, and Lampard knows that, and even the players should know that. We can
And
always ever start only 11 players.
yeah, I think in this situation, Anirudh, I think you can be happy that it is Lampard, not Ole, because his man management
Exactly.
skills far exceed than that of Ole. So he's been managing very well because Tammy, most of us, we underrated him. We thought he wouldn't
Right.
be even me making the 11, but I think he's getting the best out of Werner right now. So
Exactly.
nobody expected that.
The other.
Yeah, he's basically taking pressure off Werner
Right.
to be the person to score all the goals, and that's why we can see Werner trying to make a lot of goals. Like instead of
Exactly.
scoring, he wants to make goals because he knows that he has someone else who
Who's
can
gonna be
score
in the
as well,
box?
not just him. Yeah.
Exactly.
He knows that he can put a cross in, and there's going to be Tammy or Mount running in with a late run into the box and with a goal. So it's all great news for Chelsea, and teams that don't miss players is Liverpool, man.
Oh my
What is
God.
wrong with that team? Like, I think Klopp has
Flawless.
injected his entire power and his entire thought process into that system that it's
Exactly.
kind of it's airtight. It's just like anyone can just play with in that system. That's how it looks like. Even
I think
Milner, man,
Liverpool is the
Milner is the more
best example where you can
so
see a system works and not
Yeah.
any individual. You can possibly say that they
right.
have the best
The thing
system.
is the thing is they have individual play. They are players who can come out with a great individual moment of magic as well, and they
Right.
also have that system which is so robust that uh, people can't cope up with it at times. And the fact that they had like 7 players missing out from their starting lineup, and Milner looked like um, a
They
great
look like
right
they
back,
didn't miss
and the
any
fact
players.
that
Salah wasn't missed. Thiago
Salah
wasn't
wasn't
missed.
missing.
Van Dijk
That's why.
isn't
That's why I
missed.
Van
said
Dijk wasn't missed.
Liverpool.
Gomez wasn't missed. I don't know.
Liverpool's recruiting is like top notch.
Top
The
notch.
fact that they bought Jota for that amount,
Hmm.
and the fact that I always felt Jota was a threat even in Wolves. He wasn't played because we've lost 3-0 most of the times against Wolves, and he's always
Look,
been a
I
threat.
feel Jota is extremely a Liverpool player. If you take Jota and put in any other club other than Liverpool, he wouldn't be scoring as much, and he wouldn't be as threatening. It fits Jota perfectly because if you take Jota and put in Chelsea, I don't see him doing well. If you take Jota in Man U or Arsenal, I don't see him doing as
I
well.
think he will. I think Jota is a kind of player who he can thrive at any club because he has the defensive awareness as well. He doesn't give up on the ball. He tracks back and he gets the ball if he loses it. And he also
Right,
has a great. He also has the pace and the finishing to add
He's
as
also
well.
very
So
flexible
the
with positions.
the
right,
fact that he has great players around him is making him elevate his game.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
So
That's true.
so I never thought that they would. I thought they would nick a 2-1 win, something like that. But 3-0
I mean,
against a
I
Leicester
mean,
team
I am
who look defensively
one of the
solid.
guy who never
Wasn't
credits Liverpool in this channel. I always say I go against Liverpool. I always say they were going to lose. They're going to lose. It's probably time for me to say they're going to win, and I hope they lose. I hope
Yeah, we all
reverse
hope
psychology
Liverpool.
works.
We all hope
yeah,
that Liverpool lose, but the fact that they have played,
Exactly.
they played Tottenham. They played. I think they played Tottenham, right? They played.
Right.
no, they
They played
haven't played
Arsenal.
Tottenham.
They
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 played
okay.
Chelsea.
They
They
played
played
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
They played Chelsea.
They played
And
Everton
they played
and
Leicester
City.
now. They played Everton. On Man City. I think they've won almost all those
Yeah,
matches.
just one draw.
And yeah, see, look at that. They played most of the top 6 the conventional top six teams, and they have lost. They just dropped points in one game.
Right.
It's great, man. The fact Liverpool's Anfield is kind of becoming it's a fortress
It's a
already,
fortress.
and
I
the
think they
fact that
passed the record, I guess. I think it's 64 or 65 games
It's
without defeat.
86 and
it's
it's
un,
Chelsea's. I'm sorry, man.
uh,
I think the Liverpool record. Previous Liverpool record.
yours is not
It's
golden.
it's going to be it's going to be really. I mean, that's one thing that we have against all the teams, and I hope they don't go past 86. And I feel
I
with the
seriously
form,
think
Honestly,
Liverpool might go past. I think that record is actually at
I,
risk until
exactly.
Klopp is
like
over here.
that, we have to thank Watford for helping us last year with the invincible
And I hope
thing.
there will be a
Uh,
performance where they will collapse in Anfield, and I pray for them that they
But yeah,
do.
when
no,
actually Srini said they
it
might
is a
nick it off.
possibility.
Yeah, they
There's
might
a
nick off, but
possibility that they lose, but you can see the team. The Klopp's team is so they are so well trained. They
Right.
could just come up with a goal at any point in time, and they could just overpower any team at any
Mm.
point in time. That's how it looks. And the fact that they didn't have Trent and they didn't have Salah, but still they scored 3 goals. It's not just one
Right.
goal. They scored 3 goals without their main goal scorer, Salah. It looks it looks and Firmino scoring
the
back to
irony here
scoring
is that
form.
it
He
wasn't
was
supposed to
unlucky
be
to not
three.
get a
Firmino
brace.
missed 4 chances, I guess. It could have easily been 6-0 or 7-0. And
Yeah,
that's the
Exactly.
thing, because when I thought when the lineups were actually out, I thought Vardy would easily get a goal or two, and Leicester's wing backs are also playing really well nowadays. I mean, James Justin is also playing really well, but I think the kind of football, I think the chemistry between Mane, Jota, and Robertson, it was fluid. I think even as a
Robertson
rival
was
fan,
running up and down, man.
yeah,
He's an
even as a
engine.
rival fan, I
Robertson
have
was
to say
an
it was
engine.
drooling to see that.
And they don't have
Exactly.
and they didn't have Thiago as well, and Keita played really well,
They
and
missed a lot of. They didn't look like they
They
missed a
didn't
lot
have
of
Henderson
players.
also. They
they
didn't
didn't
have
have
a
Exactly.
captain.
Henderson
We
also.
can keep
The
naming all
fact,
the first team players, and they would
yeah,
be
they
not playing.
they are still coming up with the fact that they are not up to full strength, but they're still able to win games. It's kind of very scary to even think of such things, because we know how competitive this league is going to be
Right.
this season. And if they are able to win in this tough patch, when they are going to get all those players back, I think they are going to go on a very long winning run.
Right.
And the
I
fixture
think.
list is actually getting easier. This, as
For
you
them,
said,
Yeah,
yes.
it's going to
there's
be
more
easier
top
for
six.
them. They've already played all the big teams now, and Tottenham, who's in top along with them, they have a difficult fixture run of fixtures now. And I think if Liverpool keep winning, they might be out of sight by
Right.
January, by end of January, because the quality in the team is still not up to, like, they're just playing with 75% of the team, not
Exactly.
even 75. It could be less than that, but credit to Klopp and credit to the Liverpool team, man. They are, you as a rival fan, you can just sometimes you just have to like hold your
Sit
hands up
back,
and
and you can't do
say,
anything.
Applaud,
It's
yeah.
like you can't. You can probably applaud them. That's all you can do.
you could
I think
just
it's
say
just a
that
Klopp thing.
great thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
it's a Klopp
improves
thing. Like,
every player under him.
So probably so that's it for this week's show, guys. It's been a really good game week for again the every six clubs except Arsenal, and I hope it turns
for
around for them
Arsenal,
immediately.
you want to
But
play against Wolves
so
next
yes,
week.
so we look forward to joining you with you very very soon, and do subscribe,
Yeah.
share, and comment. It's going to be another fascinating game week of football, and
Yep.
coming really fast. We are playing we are playing every 3 days, and it's more football, more joy, and we can't keep up with the fixtures, and it's good, more content for you guys. So hopefully we see you guys next week, and thank you for joining us.
Guys, have a great day. Thanks. Peace.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.